Hi friends, thank you for tuning in to the Concussion Coach podcast. I'm Bethany Lewis, the Concussion Coach. I'm a neurological occupational therapist and certified life coach, and I specialize in guiding people through their concussion recovery journey. I am passionate about helping people understand their injury, speed up their recovery, and reclaim control over their life post-concussion. The purpose of this podcast is to help increase awareness of concussions and the impact they can have on a person's life, and to bring hope to people who have suffered a concussion and those who love them. I firmly believe that sharing stories and knowledge about concussions will bring important light and understanding to this misunderstood and often invisible injury. The information in this podcast is meant to bring that awareness and hope and is not meant as medical advice. The opinions shared are those of the interviewees and my own. If you are suffering with lingering concussion symptoms, I have created a concussion coaching program specifically for you. I will be your mentor to guide you through your recovery journey, offering help with understanding and managing your symptoms, setting achievable goals, and learning how to manage your own thoughts and nervous system in order to get control over your life again. If this program sounds like something that would help you or someone you love, sign up for a free consultation. In the consultation, you'll get valuable information and resources and gain hope for your future. Sign up for your free consultation at the link in the show notes or at my website, www.theconcussioncoach.com. Hi, friends. Welcome back to the Concussion Coach podcast. I am so excited for today's conversation. I get to bring back my friend, an earlier podcast guest, Rheaume. She was on episode 46 with me, and she shared her experience, and I just love her. She's just a ray of light. And so I'm excited for this reconnection and updates. I'm going to give you a little background on Ali. She is a speaker, author, artist, and accessibility specialist who specializes in disability and brain injury. She has a bachelor's degree in movement science and a master's degree in health, physical education, and recreation. Al is the owner of 199 Accessibility Consulting and Embracing Unique Art. She also serves on the Brain Injury Council of Massachusetts, the Franklin Commission on Disability, and the, oh my gosh, I'm going to say this wrong, NASHIA? Okay, National Association of State Head Injury Administrators Education Committee, and is the owner of her own art business called Embracing Unique. Ali is the founder and facilitator of a virtual support group called Life After Concussion, in addition to an all-in-person social hour for individuals navigating disability called Rise Up. She is passionate about helping people and bringing the community together as a collaborative effort to increase support and awareness for brain injury, disability, and inclusion. So thank you, Ali, for being here again. I'm so excited to reconnect and hear all of the updates for what's been happening in your life.
Thanks, Bethany. I'm also really excited to be here and get to catch up with you, and everybody else just gets to listen while we catch up.
I know, it's perfect. You guys can be a fly on the wall. We're just going to have a good old time. So works great. So yeah, maybe we could just get like a broad overview of since we chatted last, what things have been happening and where your journey has led you.
Wow. Yeah. So if this is your first time listening, like Bethany mentioned, it's been a couple years, and there is an episode where we really dig a lot more into my story, my whole journey. I have sustained concussion, so my life was flipped upside down in that way, and I've been trying to find myself again and what I'm called to do now and whatnot. I would say the biggest changes over the past couple years have been progressing from what I was doing and taking additional steps with it. So I've been a public speaker for a long time, and now I'm keynote speaking at conferences and events. I have become an author since the last time we talked. I have started an accessibility consulting business since the last time we talked. I am still an artist. I still do advocacy work and support groups and things like that. But I always tell people I enjoy when something starts to feel comfortable and let myself ride it out for a little bit, and then I challenge it. And that's the way I keep progressing and saying yes to new things, and then letting some other things fizzle out that really aren't serving me anymore. That's a big nutshell of where I'm at this point.
I love it. And that's such a good perspective on life. I think just a really good example of how to live a thriving, fulfilling life is, saying yes and then letting things go when the time is complete with those. So it's not always easy to do, but so cool and leads to progression and growth. So I love that. Thank you for doing that and being a good example for that. And I'd love to dig into a few of these. The thing that prompted this conversation specifically was the book writing. So I am excited to dive into that, but then I am curious about some of the other things that you've mentioned here. So we'll go into that first, if that's okay. But I just want to say that following you on Instagram and like the social media, I'm so grateful for the ability to keep in touch with people over the years through that. Like, it's been fun to watch the things that you're doing, and just I appreciate the mutual cheering of each other on, like that's in that space and in this work that we're both passionate about. So I think it's a great thing to be able to stay in touch and kind of keep tabs on each other, even though we don't get to interact
Yes.
very much. So
I
yeah.
agree. There's nothing better than getting to celebrate each other in the community as we see each other, whether it's a big thing or a little thing. I always say celebrate the small stuff too, and just
Yeah.
getting in each other's comments or DMs or reposting people's stuff and cheering each other
Yeah.
on. It motivates me, and I know it helps motivate others too. So I'm very grateful for that.
Yes, absolutely. And I feel like you're so good at that. You're very good at connecting people and good at what you do. So let's hear about the writing of the book, which, if people are watching, there's this cute little book behind Allie, Buddy the Brain. I would love to hear what kind of inspired you to do this. How did it come about?
The inspiration came from the fact that, as I mentioned, I have sustained concussion. My life was flipped upside down from it. And in the time of healing for me, over the past 10 years, I've had a niece and two nephews born. And they are currently 8, 6, and 4, which means as I have been healing, and for me, I also have sustained a really severe medication reaction. For me, this journey's been crazy. I went from a 10% functioning level to where I am now. So as I was
Mhm.
learning to walk again and talk again and eat and everything, so were my little niece and nephews over time. So it's pretty confusing for a child to be like, wait a minute, why can't Auntie read a book to me? Why can't Auntie go for a walk with me? Why isn't she at my party? Why does she need a nap? I don't need naps anymore. And I
Yes.
realized as an educator, because I was an elementary PE teacher before, I wanted to take my background knowledge of development, child development, health, all of that. Those are my degrees. Combine that with my personal experience and education and create Buddy the Brain. So
Mm.
it's rather than a character going on a journey, it's an educational book that teaches children where the brain is, what it does, how to keep it safe, what may happen if you sustain a brain injury, but also the brain can learn new things and get stronger all the time, and
Yeah.
have that conversation with the kids so they're aware and they have a little bit more of a background of why someone may be different who has sustained a brain injury in their life.
Love it. It's so cute. And the illustrations are all your own, right? You're an artist.
Yes, yes, I wrote it and illustrated it.
That's so awesome. And how has it been received? How did your nieces and nephews like it? I know you're going and reading to, like, taking it to libraries or like children's groups. I'd love to hear how it's being received.
Honestly, even better than I ever thought. I mean,
Oh,
I
good.
I had a feeling the brain injury community was definitely going to come support me and cheer me on, and they absolutely have, and I'm so grateful for that. It's the additional stories too coming my way that I'm like, oh, no way, right? It's oh, my father sustained a brain injury, and so he's a grandfather to their child, right?
Hmm.
And so he's sitting down with his grandkids and reading this book, and it's helping them understand why grandpa's different, or going to schools. Oh, I miss it so much being in schools. I didn't realize it is so fun. The kids are just eating it up. It's a interactive book too. It allows them to engage and ask questions, and I ask them questions. So their engagement is adorable. My niece and nephews actually they are obsessed with it.
That's so awesome.
My niece in particular, she's the one that's 8. So since she's older, there's actually a page in the book for each of them. They're a character. They each
Oh,
have their own
cute.
page.
Cute.
And when I have events at bookstores or something, they're able to come to, or like I visited their classrooms, they will read their page out loud. And my niece thinks it's the coolest thing in the world.
That's
She's like, "This is my
adorable.
page."
That's so cute. I love it so
Yeah.
much. I'm curious, what are some of your favorite questions that kids have asked you as you've been reading and interacting with them about it?
Well, the funniest question I've ever gotten is, do flowers also have brains?
I love kids. That's so
I
great.
do too. Because this book is meant for like kindergarten through second grade in particular. It can be a little
Mm.
younger and a little older too. But so I get like the really cute questions. I have to say, what's interesting is there's no common question. They're all
Mm.
super unique when I go into these settings. when it comes to the brain, when it comes to being an author and illustrator, the kids always want to know why I wrote the book, how I made the drawings.
That's so cute. That's awesome. Well, and what do you tell them when in response to that?
What did I just say?
How
Why did
you,
I write it
why and how?
and
Yeah.
how, yeah. So when they ask how I wrote it, I'm a big advocate of using tone to catch kids' attention and be, appropriate to their level. So we'll go from like really excited Q&A to like, I actually have a story for you and kind of taking it down a notch. And they all go, what? They're
Right.
so
Zone in.
focused, it's
Yeah.
quiet. And I tell them, kid friendly, I wrote this because I actually had a brain injury. And I wanted to help other people understand more about the brain. And then sometimes they'll ask follow-up questions, and sometimes they're like, oh, okay, well, it looks like you're better.
That's so great.
And then with the illustrations, depending on their age, I always just gauge their interaction and their interest at the time for like how detailed to get. For
Mhm.
the older kids, I'll explain more. I'll tell them, well, I sat down one day and I drew all the pictures and I painted them, and then I took a picture and I put them on my computer, and then I made the book, and then I sent it to somebody, and they put the book together and then mailed it to me.
That's so cute. I love it. Were you an artist prior to your injuries, or was this? I know a lot of
Oh.
times people find an amazing skill and talent and interest in art after a brain injury. I've just in talking to people, I've found that. So yeah, what was your experience with it?
No, I was not an artist before. I say I've always been a creative person and I come from a creative family for sure, a family full of artists.
Hmm.
So I would use my creativity in whatever jobs I had. I would make bulletin boards at school. I would make posters for the gym, but I was never the type of person to sit down quietly and do anything, never mind paint. I was always go, go, go type of girl. So after brain injury, when I was at inpatient rehab, that's when they gave me watercolor pencils, and I was like, oh, these are fun. And then when I went back home, I just kept drawing with those. And my aunt came over one day, who is an artist, an art teacher, everything. And she goes, wait, did you make those? What is that? And she was like, "Oh, we gotta let's get you into art." So she got me watercolor paints, acrylic paints, whatever I needed at the time,
Mm.
and really encouraged me to keep pursuing it, and I did. So I discovered that I have a talent.
That's beautiful. I love it so much. That's so cool. And then you use that talent in conjunction with your experience and your experience with kids. Like it's just so cool to see how it's all kind of coalesced and combined to make this awesome product, but also like
Yeah.
a thing to bless children and families out there. Because I'm guessing that it's helpful for people. Like you said,
Mm.
like grandpa's got a brain injury and this is helpful for them. Are there other stories you want to share with things that you've heard or feedback you've gotten?
Well, the other cool thing about it is part of the book talks about helmets. And when I read the book in any event, classroom, whatnot, I always stop at that page and let the kids, we talk about when would you wear a helmet? I put a helmet on and say what's the right way to wear it or not.
Mm.
And that is a really good conversation where then they go home and they talk to their parents, and then the adults are starting to wear helmets more because the kids are talking about it.
Mm.
And in my neighborhood where I live, I carry around Buddy the Brain stickers, as well as
Cute.
stickers from Concussion Awareness Now that they sent me. And if I ever see kids wearing their helmet, I will ask them if they want a sticker. And then the other day, for the first time this season, because now it's just spring in
Yeah.
Massachusetts where I live, I see this family coming by and I see the helmets, and I was like, hey, do you guys want stickers? And they're like, actually, yeah, you gave us some last year. And the kid had the sticker on the front of his helmet still. And I was
That's so
like,
cute.
yes,
Yes. Positive reinforcement. It works.
exactly.
That's awesome. Oh, I love that so much. And yeah, I'm my kids know that if they're on anything that has wheels, pretty much they need to have a helmet on. It's yeah, I'm the annoying one in the neighborhood. I'm like, guys, get your
Good.
helmets on. Because it is important. Apparently I need some stickers and we'll do some positive reinforcement instead of like reminding.
I'll have to get you some Buddy the Brain stickers.
Yes, that would be great. That's so awesome. Well, I want to for a second shift gears to the art that you do. I have to say the you did a post recently of a smile like it looks exactly like somebody just like drew a smiley face on a foggy window like in a bathroom or I don't know, like a window of a car or something. It like I it's watercolor. I was blown away. I was so impressed. What was your inspiration for that piece of
It's
art?
sitting in the other room. I know exactly where it is.
It's great. It's so cool.
Thank you. Most of the time when I paint, it's doing commissions. So people will reach out to me with a picture of a dog or a cat or a house, and I paint it for them. I paint watercolor. That's my preferred medium. And then there's sometimes I don't have a commission to work on, but every Sunday I take a Sabbath. So I try not to make plans that day. I'll do church in the morning, whether in person or online. And the rest of the day, though, it is basically my time to just no work, no house
Mhm.
tasks, just be present and put on some worship music and enjoy life. And
Beautiful.
I paint. So if I don't have a commission to work on, I'll be like, what could be something fun to make today? And it was a couple weeks ago where last year I made a painting of a very, very close up of a leaf with water droplets on it.
Mm.
And that is the most popular painting I have ever made. It won People's Choice and an art show, and it just people are like obsessed with it.
Oh,
And I
that's
was
so
like,
cool.
oh, I wonder how I can make another rain typed painting, but very different from what I've already done. And the
Mm.
whole foggy window thing came to mind,
That's so
and
cool.
I just went for it.
Ah, well, I love it. I like showed my kids. I was like, guys, look at this. Do you think this is a picture or a photo or a painting? And they couldn't tell. Like I couldn't tell at first. Like it's cool. I like it. So maybe
Thanks.
we'll have to I don't know if we can link to pictures in our in show notes or not, but I'll yeah. At least link to your Instagram so people can look it up. 'Cause it
There
is
you go.
really cool. Very, very cool. So tell us, is there anything else about the book, the experience of writing it, how it's been helping people, anything that you want to make sure get said that we haven't said yet about the book experience?
Well, with the book, I think the other really cool thing that's important for me to highlight is how accessible it is, because there are not many children's books out there that are considered to be accessible to read. A lot of kids' books are super visually overstimulating. A lot of times the fonts are crazy. And it, especially for someone who has sustained a brain injury, it is very common to experience either sensory challenges or vision challenges. And so I was thinking, if I'm writing a book where, especially if someone has sustained a brain injury, might be reading it to a kid, I want it to be clean and simple and accessible. So I actually made my own font from my handwriting and
That's
made sure
awesome.
the font itself was accessible. The font is large print, which is very rare for a children's book.
Mm.
It is always on a white background instead of being on top of any of the illustrations to make it easier to read. And the illustrations themselves on each page are nice and simple versus like crazy busy. So I
Mm.
wanted the book to be really, really accessible and not only in formatting that way, but available in Braille, ASL, audiobook with character descriptions, ebook, a whole bunch of versions so people don't have to ask for the accessibility. It's just already there for them.
That's so awesome. And things that most people don't think of. So that's very cool. And that kind of leads actually really well into the next thing. I was really curious about your accessibility consulting business. How did that come about? What do you do for that? And I guess it
A
probably
lot.
is related to what you were just talking about, like things that people don't think about naturally, but that can make a big difference for someone who's dealing with whatever struggles they're having. So yeah, sorry, keep going.
Yes, I decided. So over time, naturally, this has just been something I do automatically, is I have a huge awareness for accessibility and inclusion. I've always had a heart for that. And then after sustaining brain injury myself and navigating tons of other chronic conditions, it has opened up my perspective. How someone would be like, oh, yeah, this venue is accessible, but in their head, that means there's handicap parking spots. But they don't think about what's the entrance like? What are the bathrooms like? Is there an someone that knows ASL? Is your menu in Braille? Like, are you willing to turn off the music if someone asks? So all these things out in the world, like, right, that people don't typically think about. I'm a
Mhm.
total nerd and I'm super observant. So over time, I have taken tons of courses, webinars, learning about accessibility standards. So I have the legal information to back up what I'm asking people to do. But then also learning from those who navigate disability themselves, because that's the best education is
Mhm.
learning what people need. And all of that mixed with my experience too, I now consult with people, whether it's event planning, evaluating an event or a business or some other setting, maybe helping somebody advocate with housing, or the big specialty area I have is creating accessible digital content, flyers, social media, all of that. Because a lot of people don't realize that the way they're making their media is very difficult to read for people.
Hmm. Can you give some suggestions or like general tips that people need to hear if they're curious about that, the digital content specifically?
Sure, I'll give you five, my
Okay.
top five.
Top five. Perfect. Excellent. I'm excited.
I would say, now we're going to count because I remember. One is to left align text instead of having it centered, justified, or right aligned. And that's because every time in America, at least, we start at the left when we read, our eyes go across, and then we go back to the beginning, which is the left. So if the text is left aligned, the eyes always know where to go. If
Hmm.
it's any other type, it's like this zigzag to try to find the next line, and it makes it harder to read.
Hmm.
And then justified creates those weird gaps between text. So, number one, I would say left align text.
Okay.
Number two is to choose an accessible font. It's important to avoid script or highly decorative fonts. Also suggest to avoid serif fonts, which are the fonts that have the little dashes on the letters.
Mhm.
So, choosing a sans serif font that is not decorative is the way to go. Let's see. Maybe I'll go with three for now, because people can
Okay.
also go to my 199 Instagram or Facebook pages, and I actually have a whole series. It's very clear which ones they are because it goes all the way down my page of one tip at a time for this accessibility.
Cool.
All right, so left align, sans serif font, and three, I would say to avoid the use of all caps. So
Mhm.
if it's a sentence, uppercase the first letter and do the rest lowercase, right? Unless there's a title of something. But avoid all caps because it's a lot harder to read. And same thing for italics.
Mhm.
Avoid all caps, avoid all italics. Just use plain, simple serif fonts.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I've noticed that at the bottom of your posts, you'll have like a picture or whatever, and then the the caption, and then at the bottom, a description of what is in the picture. Can you explain why that is helpful for people?
Sure. So that'll bring us to number four and number five. Let's
Oh,
do
okay. We're
that.
doing it anyway. Sorry.
We're doing it anyway. I'm here for it. So we'll say tip number four. So alt text can be done in a few different ways. For those who are low vision or blind, they may not be able to see the text that is on your image or on your video, especially if you have a video with text on top of it. I always tell people put a solid color behind your text because it's really hard to read. There's a bonus tip. I just can't help it. I can't help it. All the
This is
tips.
coming out of you. It's so good. I love it.
But not everybody can see it. So it helps to put alternative text, which is alt text, that's what it means, in the caption or the comments. Ideally, the caption if you can, if there's enough room, but or in the comments. Because then it helps describe to somebody what they're really not able to see in the image or in the video. An example right now, which I actually usually do this at the beginning of a podcast or something, and I didn't, but an example would be if someone is unable to see us speaking right now, I would say I'm a white female with long, curly, dirty blonde hair who wears blue glasses. I have on a black blouse, and behind me are white cabinets, a white wall, my book, Buddy the Brain, and a plant. And I would say, Bethany is a white female with long brown hair and a black and white designed blouse. Behind her is a wall with a photo of a brick wall and nature and a shelf with multiple items on it. So just adding that description to what someone may or may not be able to see
Okay,
is
so I'm
the
curious
alt text.
with that, like, is that because I'm just picturing if somebody, sorry, this is just genuinely, I'm so curious. If somebody is blind or low vision and so they can't see the pictures very well, I'm guessing they're not able to be reading the text as well either. Is it for a voice to text thing? So if they have it
Yes.
being read to them?
Well, it could be both. So one, somebody may just not be able to see, they have low vision or like a little, right, a little pinhole or something. They may not be able to see the whole graphic or the whole video, or
Okay.
they may not be able to read the text because someone's not choosing accessible ways to use text, right? But the other thing is, yes, if someone's using a screen reader and they go to use, start their screen reader. I just did put my two fingers because that's on my iPhone. I'll do that. Two fingers down starts the screen reader. The screen reader will read aloud what is being seen, but if you don't have the alt text there, it doesn't automatically do it for something like Instagram.
Okay. Okay. Fascinating. Sorry. Thank you for clearing that for me. I was like, I don't understand. If somebody's not able to see it, then how can they see the text to read it? So if
Yes.
that helps me to understand that. Thank
That was
you.
a great question.
So is that those are number 4 and 5, like using the alt text and having the background uh be plain instead of on top of like letters on top of pictures and things?
Yeah, we can call that 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. I don't know. I would also say
So
adding
many.
captions. Put captions on everything. And
Mm,
captions that are not flashing one single word at a time or a quick 3 words, like put a full sentence, keep it not highlighting one word at a time, but let somebody just read like a sentence at a time. Take your time reading it.
mm,
But any captions are better than none. Uh, but the most ideal captions are ones that are solid background and not
mhm.
flashing words.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. And so good. And oh, there was a question that came into my head as you were saying that, and it is gone. So we'll see if it comes back. But okay. All right. Are there trends or things that are happening these days that you think would be good for people who are listening to be aware of that, I don't know, things that are the topics that are coming up more frequently than in the past, maybe? I don't
Nothing
know if
is
that's
nothing's jumping out at me right now. Well, also memory. Hey, what have we
that's a
been
thing.
planning? I don't know.
I love it.
Well, you know what? I think the biggest thing is the fact that the world is ever changing. So we need to
Mm,
change with it. So
yes.
something that was super relevant 5 years ago may not be as relevant now. So things like digital compliance that we were just talking about, there's, for example, uh, our municipalities, they have to abide by WCAG, oh my goodness, web content
Oh, okay.
accessibility guidelines. I was like, okay, buddy the brain, help me out here.
Love it.
And so because digital compliance has been a huge conversation for, state and local government. And so then it's like, okay, well, how does brain injury play into that? And
Mm,
it really does because we're talking about being able to read things, being able to comprehend things, the organization of PDFs, documents, websites, apps. A brain injury
mm,
survivor needs to be able to use all that stuff too. So that's a more new recent conversation that was
mm.
not in existence 5 years ago or 10 years ago as a
Yeah.
highlight of conversation.
Yeah. Thank you. And actually, that brings up, as we were talking about this, that I remembered my question. I knew it would come
Yay!
back. So, do you use or can you use like AI or something to help you write that alt text that you were talking about? Or is that something that would be helpful? Or do you like just rewrite everything that you're like describe what was happening in the video like every time you post something?
Personally, I always use just my own description. I actually don't use AI.
Okay.
I know it's a helpful tool for a lot of people, but the thing with it with accessibility is AI isn't trained well enough yet for accessibility. So actually a lot of
Mm,
people ask me this question. Somebody the other day was asking, "Hey, what do you think about using AI to make my graphics even?" And I said, I wouldn't. AI doesn't know enough about accessibility yet. Even if you type make it accessible, it may be
mm,
better, but may not still meet all the standards. So it is built into some systems. I believe in something like Canva, for example, which is a very common tool used by a lot of people to create graphics. In
Mhm.
Canva, I believe there's an option where it can be like, it says like generate for me, generate the alt text for me.
Mm.
And you could always see what comes up, and you can choose whether you agree with it or not, or
Yeah,
come up with your
change
own
it.
description. But personally, I just make my own because I like to think if I was the person looking at this, well, what I want to know about it right now, and make it just makes it a little bit more personal than computer generated.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you. I
That's a
was
cool
just curious
question.
about that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
that is another whole aspect of accessibility. Like I know there are interesting things going on in science and technology and mixed with the bio world of like, yeah, anyway, there's a lot there. It will be interesting to see as it all comes together and how it all plays out. If you have any thoughts on that, I'd be interested in hearing that, but we can move on as well.
About AI.
About
Is
not AI necessarily, but like speaking of accessibility, I know there are like companies that are working on creating things that allow people who are missing a limb to be able to control a orthotic or something.
mm,
My gosh, what is the like?
I love us. I just
I love
this
us
is
too.
so real.
Wow, it is. And the oh my gosh, the thing that you use.
Prosthetic?
Yes, thank you.
You
That's
were so
like
close. You were in the
if you
right
have an
category.
amputation. There we go, guys. Anybody out there, you can feel seen.
Right.
My
This
words
is
were not
so
coming.
real.
It's so real. We're keeping this in. We're not editing
We,
that out. Yes, prosthetic. Thank you. Be able to control a prosthetic through their mind, things like that. It's just
yeah.
interesting to see what's on the horizon here. Any thoughts on all of those things?
It is wild and so cool. And that's why I say when you like when we started talking about AI, where I was like, I don't use it, but it has its pros. I think everything technology wise, it is
Yeah.
amazing to see the things that are accessible and inclusive and help people with disabilities. It is unbelievable the things that have been created. And then at the
Mhm.
same time, right? There's times that technology is like, oh shoot, we gotta go back to basics. Like, let's get off the screens. Let's use our own imagination for a
Yes.
little bit. Let's not count on SIRI every second, even though I do, and I didn't say it because I didn't want her to turn on. Like
That's hilarious. Yes, yes.
so it's I think it's the pros and cons for sure.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's always figuring out the balance is important. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, that was well said. Thank you. So I'd love to hear about the support groups that you do. How can people get help if they're interested in getting help? What resources do you point people to, and what are you providing yourself?
Sure. Well, for anyone that happens to live in Massachusetts or Rhode Island or New England and wants to travel, I don't know. The Rise Up group that I host is in person. That's why I say that. So if you're not in the area, this will not relate for you, but that one's an in-person social hour I do once a month because I was finding a lot of people who navigate disability are home because like we were talking about, a lot of the world is not accessible for them or
Yeah.
inclusive. So that I love doing that. That's once a month in Massachusetts in Franklin.
Can I ask what kinds
Virtually.
of things you
Oh,
guys do?
yeah, absolutely. I'm like, I'm so excited. Sure. Uh,
Yay.
because we do different things every month. So sometimes we honestly just get together and chat and catch up with each other. It's an hour long so that it's not too much for people.
Mhm.
And then other times we have agencies come in that tell us about their resources. So we usually do some sort of activity with them, like an icebreaker or whatever they choose. And then they tell us about their resources that are related to disability.
Mhm.
And then other times we have games or activities. So we've played the game like What Do You Meme?
Oh
Meme.
yes, that's a fun game.
We always laugh so hard with each other on that. And, it's the big card, so it's accessible. We always make sure everything we do is adaptive.
Mm.
This month, we're actually going to be creating floral bouquets. I have a friend
Oh,
who
cute.
owns a floral business and she comes to Rise Up. So she's going to bring flowers and mason jars and teach us how to create bouquets.
It'll be so fun. That's
Yeah, and
awesome.
everything's free. So we either get sponsored by organizations, the community donates to us, people buy stuff from our Amazon list. Just people are constantly supporting it, which is amazing. So
That is awesome.
everything's free for people to come attend.
I love that. That's so cool. That's amazing. Just curious, like what kind of showing do you usually get? How many people are generally coming?
Usually an average of about 15-ish.
That's awesome.
For well, yeah, because if we had like 50, I don't know if I could plan activities for 50 people. But our like core group of people is an average of about 15. And then something like this floral one, I have a feeling we'll get a lot more people
Mhm.
interested in, oh, free bouquets. Okay, I'll be
Yeah,
there.
right?
So
Yeah, seriously.
it varies.
That's so cool. Very, very cool. Okay, sorry. Keep going about the in per or the online virtual one.
No, no, I love that you asked. Thank you.
Yeah.
The virtual group I do is Life After Concussion. So that one, so the like the in-person one we were just talking about is any disability. Anyone, even if you don't navigate disability, just anybody can go to that.
Mm,
This one, the virtual, is Life After Concussion. So we welcome anyone that relates to having sustained a concussion, 18 plus, and feels like they could use support, that their life has been altered in some way because of concussion. And I call it a growth mindset group.
mm,
So people don't just show up and complain the whole time. The expectation is people are real, people are vulnerable, and we help each other move forward. So we cheer
mm,
each other on. We can share tips and advice. We never tell anybody what they have to do or what they should do. We just share what has worked for us.
mm,
And it's always topic based. So that way our brains can know what we're going to focus on that month and have conversation based off of that. And then people give ideas for, okay, what are we going to talk about next month? And
mm.
so on and so forth.
I love that. And how do people access that and how do they know like what the topic is going to be? Those kinds of things.
Yep. The best thing is to sign up for email. So I do have a website, my Rheaume.com website, which you'll probably put in the show notes, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
If you don't mind, that would be lovely.
absolutely. I
Uh,
will do that.
from my main website, you can get to the Life After Concussion site, and there's an option in there to sign up for emails. That would be the best way to go because I will always send an email with the Zoom link, and I always send email reminders the week of and the day of, and it says what the topic is, the time, everything. It's always the second Wednesday of each month at 2 p.m. Eastern,
Okay.
from 2 to 3:30 p.m. Eastern. People can come or go anytime. It doesn't really matter to me.
Mm,
But that's the best way to stay up to date and know what the topics are. And Instagram and Facebook, I always post what the monthly topic is on there too.
that's very cool. I appreciate you meant like bringing up the fact that it's a growth mindset group. I know I've talked to people who've and I don't know which support groups that they've tried, but I've heard people say like, oh, that one it was like people complaining. So
Yeah.
it is hard probably to find that balance. Like we need support because we're struggling, and so we're talking about those things, but also we want to have that hope and that actual support and love and being uplifted together as well. So it's yeah,
Yes.
that's cool that you're able to do that and that's the mission and the goal there.
Yeah, I've been in groups too because I attended support groups before ever facilitating one. And I always encourage people to when they're like, "How do I facilitate?" I say, "Well, start by attending," and
Yeah.
then, and I've definitely been in some groups where I just found myself leaving being like, I don't quite feel better. I kind of just feel
Yeah.
like depressed from, and right, like you were just saying, it's important to be real too, though. So I always started out by saying to people, we have people cry, we have people laugh, we have people all over the spectrum of emotions. But the big thing is reminding people this is not personal therapy. And I think
Mm,
that's the big difference is a lot of people come in and maybe they don't have the close networks of friends or family, and that is so valid
mhm,
and real. And to have people that you feel safe with is really important. And I always say, save the deeper stuff, the digging into your personal scenarios for private personal therapy with a professional. At
mm,
Life After Concussion, you can bring up a question. I just tell people like think about it in the form of a question. What are you trying to get out of this,
mm,
right?
mm,
What do you feel like you need help with? Describe the circumstance, but in a way of, well, what do you want help with rather than just emotionally dumping? Because I think that's where the big difference is
yeah,
versus the growth
yeah,
mindset intention.
yeah. I love that. And are you usually the one like navigate like hosting that and making sure that the questions are coming and all of that? That's
Oh yeah, I facilitate the whole thing. So sometimes I can just, all right, have fun, chatting for 10 minutes because you don't need me right now. Y'all doing a great. You're on topic and the conversation's flowing and people are helping each other. And then I'm right there though if something starts to get a little bit too deep or too cringy or
uh-huh.
or maybe there's silence, we don't know where to go next, or people just
Hmm.
want a little bit help with like, well, I'll call on you to speak, right? Because that's the other thing too is sometimes people don't know when to jump in to just
Yeah,
talk. So I help facilitate the flow the whole time.
beautiful. Yeah, because that's sometimes a thing that can happen on virtual calls. I feel like it is a
Yes.
difference between virtual and in person. It is harder to know when to say something, or like you have this awkward silence and like who's going to speak, and then two people start at the same time. It's just yeah, it's a different beast. So
Yeah, we can
that's
mute
great.
people online, so.
Yeah. Right? It's great. I'm just kidding. No, that's awesome. I love that you do that, and that yeah, so once a month. And just curious, what are some of the topics that you've gone through? And I assume you probably recycled through some of them as there's probably repeated ones. What do you find to be particularly helpful for people?
Yeah, I would say the most repeated ones that I try to do at least once a year, if I remember to, are relationships and navigating medical care. Like letting
Mm-hmm.
people just have the space to talk about different ideas for, therapies or whatnot, or, treatment for stuff. But definitely relationships is a huge one. So sometimes we break it up too, where it's, this time we're going to talk about marriage and dating. And then the
Mm-hmm.
next time we're going to talk about friends. And then the next time we're going to talk about family because those are all so different, even though they're all relationships. But
Yeah.
then sometimes we just say, hey, we're going to talk about relationships. What comes up for you this time? But I would say those are the two biggest ones with relationships as the number one.
Mm-hmm.
But then I try really hard to actually, so well, I'm saying this month, but I don't know when this recording will come out. So instead, I'll say for June of 2026, our topic is going to be having fun again, how to have fun again
Oh, I love
after
that.
sustaining concussion. Because then in July of 2026, we have Taryn Barlow of the Well Brain coming to join us. She's a
Yay!
cognitive health coach, a speech language pathologist. And we're going to kind of like prep for them when she comes the next month. And she's going to be talking about like the cognition of getting back out into the community and like gaining that life again. Like, how do you do it cognitively? How do you plan, go plan, do a review? And right. So,
Yes,
trying to piggyback off of topics. But yeah, how to have
I
fun
love
again.
it.
Maybe it's return to work. Maybe another topic is engaging in hobbies. Just trying to think of the common struggles after concussion.
Yeah. Oh, that's so needed and so beautiful. I love that you're doing that. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's so, so helpful for people. And actually, as you mentioned the dating thing, I actually just saw on a Facebook group that I am a part of, somebody asked, how do you get back into dating again after a concussion? So as you've done some of these, do you have any tips for on the relationship side? Anything you want to
Yeah.
throw out here, wisdom for us?
Yeah, I actually maybe I should put up that post again. I don't remember the last time I posted it, but I have such a good Instagram post on that helps with like the single visual one at a time tips.
Mm.
The biggest thing I tell people is to be your authentic self because if you're pretending, the longer you pretend, the more false of a relationship you're creating with someone.
Mm.
So if you're going to be dating, no, you do not have to share your whole story on date number one, but you may need some accommodations. Maybe you don't need any, but maybe you do. And so asking yourself, what is the number one thing this person needs to know about me now? And then over time, trickling in the other things. Let me give you an example. If it were me, the number one thing for me is my capacity is maybe an hour to 2 hours at a time. Now, if I start dating someone, naturally you're going to want to hang out a lot, right? The poor guy I go to date is probably going to think I hate him if I'm like, I can only get together once a month for 1 hour. He's probably going to be like, excuse me?
Right.
Right? So I need to be honest. Hey, listen, due to brain injury or due to disability or however you want to word it, I need to let you know my capacity is about an hour or 2 hours at a time. I want to make the most of our time together. So I want you to know that now. And then I'm going to need some breaks or to rest, and I may not get back to you right away. It may take a little bit of time. let someone know the
Mm.
things you would want to know. Like, why isn't this
Yeah.
person getting back to me? Why aren't they saying that? Like, why aren't they hanging out with me? And then over time, then maybe I would add, okay, well, hey, by the way, once we progress a little bit and you're going to start kissing me, I can't stand up and be making out with you for 30 minutes. I will pass out from standing up that long. So it's
Good to
like,
know. Right.
hey, let's sit down. So trickling in the other things as they start to come up, or maybe if a restaurant is going to be really noisy, being like, hey, do you mind if we start at a cafe instead? And you don't
Mm.
even have to say why in the beginning if you don't want to, but just say, hey, can we start at a cafe? Like, don't push yourself so hard you're crashing from these dates with
Mm.
people, or you're trying to be somebody that you're not. Because if you go to an amusement park on day one and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden you're telling them, oh, I can only go to cafes, they're going to be so confused.
Yes, yes, such a good point.
So just be real and take it one step at a time with what you share and what you think you can tolerate so that you're progressing upwards instead of starting at the top and crashing down.
I love such good advice, man. Yes, this is excellent. Thank you. So everybody listening, this is just like a little taste of what you would get at the at the support group. So you should totally go. But no, those are really good tips, and I think just really helpful. Even if somebody's, even if it's a friendship that they're wanting to develop or whatever, even if it's not
Yeah.
a relationship, dating relationship, I think that's just such good advice. So thank you for that. I think that's
Yeah. I
yeah.
realize a lot of people, that's what trips them up is they pretend, and then they get when they're home by themselves and they're reflecting, they actually feel so alone and isolated because the relationship they do have, they're not being honest in.
Mm.
And it is amazing you can be surrounded by 50 people and still feel alone because you're presenting a false version of yourself. So absolutely, Bethany, encouraging people all across the board with every relationship, be honest. And sometimes you are going to have to be the one to sacrifice because relationships are two people or more, right? And
Mm.
so it can't always be 100% everything you need and never what the other person needs. You got to compromise in some ways,
Yeah.
but not in a way that is so detrimental to your health. So be
Yeah.
honest, think about what you need, and communicate it to people.
Yes. Amen. So well said. And I think that also will benefit your own relationship with yourself. Like you said, like
Yeah.
if you're not being honest with others, then that hurts your own relationship with yourself, which then makes it harder to be with yourself. So yeah, it is
Yeah.
just really, really beautifully said. I got chills while you're talking. So thank you for sharing that. I think that's important for people to hear. So beautiful. Anything else? I feel like this is kind of like a random, like flowy, but I love it kind of conversation. Anything that you want to make sure people hear or understand or know about your experience or ways to get help that we haven't covered yet?
I first of all, I have to say I love where this conversation has gone. It has all been beautifully connected, and but I guess that makes sense because I don't just do random things in my life. Like they're all connected in some way.
Yes, I love it.
I would say this. I think it's really important for those who are listening, depending on where you are in your journey after concussion. Each of us has a unique journey that we're all on. We have different backgrounds that we are bringing into having sustained concussion. We have different people that are around us or not. We have different resources depending on where we live. I live in Massachusetts. There's an abundance of resources here. You might live in even New Hampshire has less resources maybe than Massachusetts does, for example. But what I want to encourage is to remember that your journey is your own and to be encouraged by other people, to connect with other people, and to be in community. Don't do it alone. Also, don't compare yourself to the people that you're in community with. Easier said than done, but you may look at someone like Bethany and think, oh my gosh, how does she have a podcast? You may look at someone like me and go, oh my gosh, how does she have multiple social media channels and wrote a book? We did not get here overnight. It has taken years. It has taken one step at a time. It has taken honoring the process and appreciating those single little steps along the way. That's how we've gotten where we are. So if you're more towards the beginning of the journey, or maybe you are 10 years out and you still feel like you're at the beginning of the journey, wherever you are, that is okay. Have hope for the future, have vision for the future. In today, though, take little small steps and celebrate each one because those will add up. And before you know it, you're going to look back and go, oh, that's how they got there. This is how I got here. I understand it now. Give yourself
Yeah.
grace, give yourself time.
Amen. So beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And in the spirit of full disclosure, I don't have a brain injury that I know of. I just have a hard time with words sometimes and all these other things. So like I relate, but it's not exactly the same. And I recognize that, but it is amazing. But it's a same principle. It's like I did
Exactly.
not ever imagined that I would have a podcast, but it's been little like breadcrumbs along the way and like, okay, saying yes to things and then figuring out, oh, okay, I'm going to keep going in this direction. It's cool to see how life plays out and the right things and opportunities and knowledge and experiences come in when we're ready, when the time is right. And it is amazing to look back and be in awe at it all. So
Exactly. I'm so glad you said that. And I could say the same thing for every single person in my life. The
yes.
whole concept of you see this person, you see that person, how did they get here? It is one step at a time.
It really is. It really is. And it's so much sometimes hard to when you're just taking those little steps or I don't know, for some reason the like eating an elephant one bite at a time analogy came to my head. It's like one bite at a time, but it feels like there's so much more to go or whatever. Like it's easy to get frustrated or impatient, but it is also helpful to look back and see, oh my gosh, this is amazing and the things that are happening are good. So
Yeah, I think it's important to say for the clinicians that are listening as well.
mm,
Like, right? That
yes.
wherever they are and helping people who have sustained concussions, it's the same concept. So,
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation and
Me
just really do
too.
love what you're doing in the world and how you're helping people and so real and authentic in what like your own journey with it too. It's very inspiring. So thank you for what you're doing, Ali. I'm so glad we got to have this conversation today.
Thanks for having me. I really enjoyed it as well, so I appreciate it.
Yay. We'll have to do it again sometime.
Yes, deal. Okay.
Okay. I'm so glad you listened in today. I hope you have gained some helpful insights and inspiration regarding dealing with and recovering from concussions. My goal is to create more awareness and education about concussions and the fact that there is so much that can be done to improve life after someone has had one. Help me spread the message by liking, commenting, rating, and subscribing to this podcast, and share it with others who would benefit from hearing it. There are more resources available on my website. And again, if you or someone you love would benefit from concussion coaching, sign up for a free consultation using the link in the show notes or at my website, www.theconcussioncoach.com. Thank you. See you next time, and take good care of that amazing brain of yours.